My parents said my sister deserved my inheritance more than me. The lawyer reading Grandpa's will had a different plan. I was 10 when I realized my sister Chloe was the golden child. By 25, I realized I was just the insurance policy. My parents, Mark and Diane, didn't even try to hide it. If Chloe crashed her car, they bought her a new one. If I needed a loan for a laptop to finish my engineering degree, they told me to build character by working double shifts. The worst part, Chloe was a nightmare. She was 30, unemployed, and spent her days influencing with money she didn't have. But to my parents, she was a delicate flower who just needed a little more time. When my grandpa stylist passed away, the mask finally slipped. Grandpa was a self-made man who owned a massive estate and a logistics company. He and I were close. I spent every summer on his farm actually working while Chloe stayed home because she hated the smell of dirt. The night before the will reading, my parents called me into the kitchen. The air was thick with the smell of Diane's expensive candles bought with Chloe's credit card my dad paid off every month. Leo, my dad said leaning back, we need to talk about Grandpa's estate.
We know he loved you.
But Chloe is struggling. She doesn't have your natural drive. We've decided that whatever he left you, you're going to sign it over to her. I felt the blood drain from my face. You want me to give her my inheritance? All of it? It's the right thing to do, Leo, my mom added, not even looking up from her wine. You have a career. Chloe has nothing. She deserves a head start. Don't be selfish. Selfish? I whispered. I've worked for every cent I have. She's never held a job for more than a week. That's enough, my dad snapped. If you don't agree to this, don't bother coming to Sunday dinners anymore. You're either part of this family or you're an outsider. Choose. I didn't argue. I just nodded. Fine. Let's see what the lawyer says tomorrow. The next morning, we sat in a mahogany-clad office. Chloe was there, wearing a designer black dress she'd clearly bought for the aesthetic of being a grieving heiress. She was already scrolling through Zillow, looking at penthouses. The lawyer, Mr. Henderson, looked at us over his spectacles. He'd been Grandpa's best friend for 40 years. He looked disgusted. Before I begin, Henderson said, I have been instructed to play a video message left by Silas. The screen flickered on. Grandpa looked frail, but his eyes were sharp. To Mark and Diane, Grandpa's voice boomed. You've spent 20 years enabling a parasite and punishing the provider. I've watched you tell Leo he was less than because he was strong enough to stand on his own. My mother gasped. Chloe stopped scrolling. I know you pressured Leo to give up his share last night, Grandpa continued, smiling grimly. I bugged the kitchen when I visited last month. I knew exactly who you were. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Therefore, the video continued. I am leaving the house, the vacation properties, and the liquid cash totaling approximately $4 million to my grandson. Leo, Chloe let out a literal shriek. That's not fair. Keep lying. Wait, Henderson interrupted, raising a hand. There's more. My dad was leaning forward, his face purple. The business? What about the logistics company? It's worth 10 times the cash. The video played again. As for the company, Grandpa said, I am leaving 51% ownership to Chloe. Chloe jumped up, screaming with joy. I knew it. I knew he loved me more. You hear that, Leo? I'm the boss. You're nothing. My parents were beaming. My dad looked at me with sure triumph. Well, Leo looks like the natural drive didn't pay off as well as being a delicate flower, did it? I felt a pit in my stomach until Henderson cleared his throat. Please let the video finish, the lawyer said coldly. Grandpa's face on the screen turned into a mass of pure ice. I am leaving the company to Chloe. Along with the results of the internal audit I conducted 6 months ago. The company is currently $14 million in debt due to mismanagement by the board members. I'm firing today. As the majority shareholder, Chloe, you are now personally responsible for the outstanding predatory loans. I took out to keep the staff paid while the company bled out. Chloe's smile vanished. What? Additionally, Henderson added, sliding a stack of papers across the table. Since the company is structured as a general partnership in this specific clause, the debt follows the owner. Unless the debt is settled within 30 days, the creditors will move to seize the assets of the primary beneficiary's immediate family. That's you, Mark and Diane. My mother fainted, literally hit the floor. My father grabbed the papers, his hands shaking. 14 million? We don't have that! We'd lose everything. The house, our retirement. Leo, you have the 4 million. You have to pay it. I stood up and buttoned my jacket. I looked at the man who told me I wasn't family if I didn't give away my future. I'd love to help, Dad, I said, my voice as calm as a frozen lake. But you told me I needed to build character by handling things on my own. I think it's time Chloe learned that lesson too. Leo, please, Chloe sobbed, grabbing my arm. I don't know how to run a company. I don't know how to handle debt. I pulled my arm away. Maybe you can influence your way out of it. Or just give it a little more time. I walked out of that office and didn't look back. A month later, my parents had to sell their house to cover the first wave of lawsuits. They're currently living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Chloe is working her first ever start at a fast food joint to avoid jail time for financial negligence. As for me, I used the inheritance to start my own firm. Grandpa was right. Character's built. But watching the people who tried to ruin you collapse under the weight of their own greed, that's just poetic justice.